What's up, everybody? We are live once again. Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing well. What's up? Let's check the stream real quick. Make sure audio is good. Can you see me? Let's say hi to some folks in the chat real quick. Welcome to another Apple Home Talk Live. It's been a minute, feels like. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me and everything's good. Been moving around my setup a little bit. Happy Wednesday. What's up, Larry? Jack's Diner in the house. What's up? Thump Jimmy. Old Orchard Beach. Looks good. Sounds good. Thank you, Frederick. What's up, Frederick? Glad you could be here and help out with the chat today. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, a little rusty. I'm telling you, time has just been getting away from me this week. I thought I had like 15 minutes left before the stream started. I look up and it was like 3:58 my time. I was like, oh dang, we got to go live right now. So good to see that everything is working and we're ready to roll. A little rusty, I guess, because we took last week off from the stream. I wasn't here. Went on a little vacation with the family. We went down to Key West, Florida, which was a lot of fun. That's, I want to say the third year in a row we've done that, maybe the fourth or fifth. I've been a bunch, but my wife and I went down there for our 10th anniversary about 3 years ago, and we stayed at this one place and we just loved it. We've gone back every year since then, and this year was the first year we took our daughter with us. So in the past, it's been just adults. Sorry, I'm adjusting my microphone here. This year we took our daughter, had a lot of fun, did a lot of activities, went kayaking in the mangroves. Let's see, what else did we do? There's a little butterfly observatory down there, which was pretty fun, and just a lot of fun in the sun. Went fishing a little bit, so yeah, it was a good time. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw a lot of that in my stories. Lawrence, what's up, Lawrence? Yeah, it was a great trip. Thank you. Let me test my pop-ups real quick too. Sorry, getting my setup all back to usual. It was a great trip. Really enjoyed it. Nice time away. It's kind of, I'm sure you guys know, it's like when you take a trip, it's like you got to work twice as hard before you go and then 3 times as hard when you get back. Almost makes you wonder if it's worth going on a trip sometimes because you got to work so much outside of the trip. But, getting away is always nice and highly recommended if you get a chance. Take a little time off. Lone Star Trent, what's up, Trent? Butterflies are harder to photograph than people, I think. And not in this place, man. There were so many butterflies all over the place. It is really cool. I mean, it's something definitely worth going and checking out if you ever go down to Key West. It's right near the southernmost point. We did go there too. And like I said, my daughter thought it was really cool. We think it's pretty cool. She had me go through twice. And there's just butterflies everywhere. Really cool for taking photos. Utilize that little portrait mode on your iPhone is nice. Lawrence said, I just take extra days for vacation from vacation. That is very smart. Very smart. Highly recommend doing that as well. And we did come back on a Friday. Yeah, we flew back in on a Friday. We actually drove to Atlanta and flew out of Atlanta. And so that was nice to have the weekend, but me working for myself nowadays, it's like Saturday came and I just got right back to it. I was like, I got so much to catch up on. But my wife and my daughter, actually my daughter's on spring break this week, so she has even more time. She had a little schoolwork to catch up with, but they had a nice little vacation from their vacation, I guess. It's definitely important if you're traveling with young kids, have a vacation from I used to say all the time when my kids were little, it's a little different now, they're older, but I used to say all the time when my kids were little, a vacation with little kids is hardly a vacation sometimes, depending on where you're going, I guess. But welcome everybody to another Apple Home Talk Live stream where we talk all things Apple Home, smart home, and today, like I said, I've been catching up so much on different things, projects and stuff I've needed to do. So I have not been too deep into the news and everything. So there's a couple things I noticed that we'll talk about today. Usually we cover any smart home news. If there's anything you guys want to cover or anything you've seen that piqued your interest, definitely let me know in the comments. We'll try to talk about it, but we'll do just kind of a good hangout today and answer as many questions as I can today, I think. And yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun. I recently, oh, thank you, Juan. Juan says, Shane, your last live. Can you guys see that? Do I need to make that a little bit bigger maybe? How's that? Juan says, your last live stream was fabulous with Nanoleaf CEO. Good job, my friend. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. That was really cool of him to come and do that, and really fun. That was, I think, the second live stream I've done with a guest on it, and at least in recent times. And really enjoyed doing those. I think I know we're going to do some more of those actually. I know some people kind of prefer the solo streams. Some people like it when we have guests on, so we're going to mix it up. We'll do a little bit of both. I think I'm going to try to bring on a guest if I can. I want to say at least maybe one a month, maybe two a month. And then just have these solo live streams in between where I can kind of, just dive a little deeper with you guys and chat and answer more questions and stuff like that. It's a little hard to answer as many questions and things when we have a guest on. So we'll definitely keep doing these solo live streams so we can do that. But I am excited to bring on some more guests and just kind of chat with some other people. And it should be a lot of fun. I know that one was definitely cool to have the Nanoleaf CEO, Jimmy Chu, on. He's a great guy. That was really cool. Let's see. Oh, Jimmy is in the chat. Let me see. Let me catch up in the chat. I think I saw somebody. Frederick said, hey, Jimmy is in the chat. Welcome back, Frederick said. I missed Jimmy's comment there. But yeah, welcome back, Jimmy. Thank you for joining us, man. Actually, speaking of Nanoleaf, one of the things we can talk about, new product. So this came out recently. Let's just jump right into a few things. Let me see if my second camera is working today. There we go. This just came out, I think. I'm pretty sure this came out. I hope it came out and I can talk about it. Can you guys see that? It's not all fitting in the screen maybe. This is a Pegboard desk dock and really unique product. So it's nice. I'm always a fan of innovation and companies doing stuff that's a little outside of the normal, and this is definitely a unique product. It reminds me a lot of their the new Nanoleaf blocks that go on the wall with the pegboards, except this is just a smaller, more affordable one. You can sit on your desk. Biggest difference here is that this is not a smart home device. So well, not really. It doesn't support, it does work with Razer Chroma, but it doesn't work with the Nanoleaf app. You have to use the Nanoleaf desktop app. So this plugs directly into your computer. And it actually has, let's see, does it say on here? It has multiple USB-C ports on there. Yeah, so you can power your other devices and peripherals and stuff like that, which is nice for a desktop. I actually set one of these up recently. I'll probably share that over on Instagram here soon, but I set one up and they do look really good. I wish it worked in HomeKit, but it is what it is. I think the price on these is don't quote me. I want to say it's like $49.99, something like that. It's around the $50 mark. So really affordable product there. And there you go. You can see right there. So the back of it is actually like a solid LED panel with gradient, addressable LEDs and stuff. So it looks really nice. And of course the front is the pegboard, or I suppose you could spin it around maybe if you wanted to flip that, but it puts off a nice glow on the wall if you have that part facing the wall. So, which is kind of how I've done it, and I'm using it to hang my headphones on right now. Let's see. Lawrence said I saw that revealed. Okay, good. So it is, or maybe y'all are talking about something else. Let me catch up in the chat. Oh, there he is. Thanks for the love. Trying our best. Jimmy, what's up, man? Glad you could stop in the chat, man. Lawrence says, looks awesome. Will do very nicely in my studio. Did you happen to get an extra one for you to give away to us lucky followers? I don't have the stream set up for a giveaway. I have to kind of do some stuff beforehand to do that. Maybe we can arrange something in a future stream. We haven't done a giveaway in a while, so maybe we can do one in a future stream. I see some people dropping some questions. Dawn, I thank you. Everybody take note here. If you do have a question, if you would please preface your comment with the word question like Dawn did. It just sticks out a little bit easier for me in all these in all the comments, and that way I can get to them. And I'll save the questions too, by the way. So I'll flag them and try to come back to as many as I can during this stream. So let me rearrange my screen here a little bit. Don says, is anything available for soil temperature and moisture monitoring? Funny you should ask. Hold on one second. I got one right here. This is the only thing that I know of. I have not used this yet. I know some people in my Discord server, some of the channel members have used this. So this is Third Reality's, can you see that? Is that in focus? Third Reality soil moisture sensor. And this connects over, I'm not sure what type of battery it uses. Let's see. AA battery, smart soil moisture sensor. And this is a Zigbee device. So Third Reality makes a lot of Zigbee stuff, really good products. I think they work really well, the Zigbee stuff. I've only used a few of their Zigbee products. But yeah, this is the only one that I know of. And to bring this into HomeKit, you would need something like the Third Reality has a Matter bridge. Let's just pull it up on the screen real quick. If I can find the website. Here we go. Whoops. Here's their smart color nightlight that supports Matter. Oh, they're going too quick. This is a really cool product. I've been using this for a long time too. They've got their mechanical keyboard. Has that been released now? Oh, that might be out now. I didn't think that was out yet. Awesome. Let's see. Their presence sensor. I've also been using this. So this one is Zigbee. This one right here is Matter over Wi-Fi. But what we're looking for is, see, they've got just so many. There's the smart bridge. I think this is the Matter bridge. Yeah. So you can use this to bring in those Zigbee devices into HomeKit if that's what you want to do. You can also use something like Home Assistant or some other Zigbee bridge to accomplish that. But yeah, that's the only one that I know of for soil monitoring. And I'd like to try that out. Robert says Apollo has a soil sensor as well. Thank you, Robert. Let me see if I can find that. If I can spell right today. Let's see. Plant sensor for Home Assistant. Okay. Here's what I'm seeing. Let's see. So that plugs in. Does that plug into the wall? Is this a Zigbee device? I'm not familiar with this one. Okay, so you get a USB-C plug or maybe a battery. That's nice. Okay, and Lawrence said Sonoff announced a Zigbee one. So it looks like Zigbee is going to be the answer there. SeaWorld, Chris is using one. Chris says, my Third Reality soil sensor is buried underwater, under 6 inches of soil and doing its job wonderfully. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I don't have much of a green thumb by any means, but yeah, I'm tempted to try this out. And it actually, there's a smart watering kit that you can get with this also and like pair it to and do automations and stuff around. Let's see if I can find that. Looking for, I don't know what that would be under there. website. But they have a smart watering kit somewhere. If I can find it. Yeah, I can't find it on their website. But yeah, cool stuff there from Third Reality. Oh, here Riot says, I'm literally repotting plants right now and about to connect the Third Reality water monitor. Awesome. Nice. Well, let us know how you like it. Yeah, not a lot of things around plants, just not Apple Home approved. And like I said, I do not have a green thumb, so I'm not the best one to answer that question, as I have not really dove too deep into that. But yeah, it looks like the Zigbee, you have to have a way to get the Zigbee devices into HomeKit, and then maybe you can make it work that way. Question, will the soil sensor work to trigger a sprinkler system? Jason asked. Yeah, so that's, the beauty of automations. And, if you can get something like this into HomeKit, or, it's just this beauty of smart home automation, whether you're using Home Assistant, HomeKit, Google, or something else. Once you get this into your smart home ecosystem, if you have a sprinkler system that's also in the same smart home ecosystem, whether it's HomeKit or Home Assistant or whatever, you can create automations around that. So yeah, you certainly can do that as long as your devices can work within that smart home ecosystem, like I said. And there's different sprinkler systems. You have those that are like irrigation controllers, like for underground sprinklers, which is what I have. I'm using a Yardian Pro, but they've got like the Eve Aqua that you could use that supports, I think that's Matter over Thread nowadays, which you can connect to your hose. You can use something like that Third Reality water controller to, that would go perfectly with one of these. So yeah, there's definitely ways to do that. Otika says Apollo will work with Homey Pro soon. I will try their product after I got disappointed with Third Reality. Oh, what's wrong with was it the soil sensor? Didn't like it with Third Reality. Trent says, I have not tried the Moen. Thank you, Trent. I missed that question. But no, I have not tried the Moen. That's the one where I believe you have to cut into your pipes in order to install that. So you probably want a plumber or somebody that knows what they're doing a little more than me, but I have not done that yet. Adventure Smurf says, I'm looking to get rid of my Google Nest cameras. Any updates on the video you posted about the Aqara G5 Pro PoE? Also, when will the 32 gigabyte PoE be available in the States? Yeah, I don't know about the 32 gigabyte PoE. So when that was launched, they told me there was two versions. I think it was 8 gigabytes for the one you buy on Amazon, the online version, and then the 32 gigabytes for those that are sold in store, like through retailers. Let me see if, I wonder if Best Buy sells the G5 Pro, because Aqara products are in Best Buy now, but I'm not sure if the G5 Pro is. I'm not seeing it so far. I'm wondering if that gets into Best Buy, if maybe they'll have the 32 gig version. I see your questions here. I'm gonna flag the questions, so I'll get back to these as many as I can. But yeah, and then regarding other updates to the Aqara G5 Pro, so they did release some updates, and I wonder if I can find a list. I talked about this recently in a live stream a few weeks ago. Here we go. All right, so this is on an Aqara forum, and I think this is what I'm looking for. So some other updates regarding that. Here's what's changing. Free cloud storage for all new and existing users. New users get 24 hours of free cloud storage for 6 months. No trial, activation, or payment credentials are required up front. Let's see. Existing G5 Pro owners, remove and re-add your camera. Okay, that's telling you how to utilize that. Local functionality improved. So this is a big one. Detection and automation timeouts removed. No more paywalls for detection frequency. So like, that was one of the things I complained about, is them having certain features behind a paywall that I didn't feel like they should have had. That was not cool. Local clip download. So download event clips directly to your phone. Again, that's nice. Some more motion automation changes, timeline and playback upgrades. So AI event markers on the local timeline. That's nice because that's something you couldn't do before. Only in the cloud version, which is what you had to pay for. So that's nice. Let's see, and this one right here, 24/7 NAS recording. That was one of the big things that was lacking when they first launched it, and ONVIF support. So you can integrate this camera, the PoE version especially, into third-party NVR systems, which is huge. So they have definitely come out with some nice updates for that camera since it launched, which I'm very happy to see. Definitely looks like Aqara is listening to the feedback that all of us have been giving. I didn't realize my monitor was in the way there. John, what's up, John? Glad you could make it here. Let's see here. Let me flag some of these questions. Oh, Adventure Smurf says 32 gig only in Europe. Interesting. Ron Jiv says, have you seen a release date on new Apple HomePods? Is there something I don't know about? I have been on vacation. Did I miss a HomePod announcement from Apple? I did not know that was happening. There's some rumors definitely, but we don't know anything until Apple, decides to let us know. Double pancakes. Oh, that's a good question there. So says, I like the name too, by the way, double pancakes. Got to make it a double. Says, may I ask, do you prefer the Ubiquity doorbell or the Aqara doorbell? That's a good question. So the Ubiquity doorbell, first of all, I have not used it yet. I do have plans to use it. I know a lot of people speak highly of it. So I am hoping to test one out soon and try that. With that said, I do really like the Aqara doorbell. I think it's a great doorbell. The only reason I don't use the Aqara doorbell at my house is because it has a vertical video feed. And for my front door porch area, I really need a vertical. Did I say vertical or horizontal? I may have said horizontal. You know what I'm saying. The Aqara doorbell has a horizontal feed. I may have said vertical. But I really need a vertical feed for my front porch. That's the only reason why I don't use it, but it has local storage. You can hardwire it. It's a really good doorbell. I've installed one for multiple family members who do have a better setup for a horizontal camera feed there. But yeah, I do hope to try the Ubiquity doorbell here soon and can update you with that as far as how I like that one. Let's see. Larry has a question here, and I know there's some other questions I haven't got to, and I have saved some of them, as many as I saw, so I will come back to those. But Larry has a question here that is something I actually wanted to cover a little bit. So Larry says, can you explain the new firmware update for the other Aqara hubs that's due out later this month that will give additional Matter functionality. And this is something I wanted to talk about. So thank you, Larry, for asking. If you guys don't recall, if you watch all these streams, it was a few weeks ago we talked about this a little bit. So Larry, that's basically what we're talking about. But there is, let me pull over, there's a couple of pages I have pulled up. Here is on The Verge. There's an article where they kind of talked about this a little bit. So two things really with this update from Aqara. It's really great that Aqara is doing, they're doing some big things, I think. But here this says Aqara is adding support for over 50 new Matter device types. So that's kind of part one of this big update. So what this is it gives you more Matter device types that you can add in the Aqara app, so to your Aqara Matter controller. And then you also get this advanced bridging feature. And that's what we talked about a few weeks ago, was that advanced bridging feature. But before we get to that, let's cover these device types. So Aqara, so the new Matter device types that you can now connect to an Aqara Matter controller, which would be one of your Aqara bridges, like the M3 hub or any of the other Aqara bridges. Robot vacuums, dimmable plugs, smoke alarms, air quality sensors. I mean, all these are Matter accessories here that are supported. I mean, Apple, please take note. That's really awesome. So again, you can add these to the Aqara app. Now, according to this, I haven't tried this or used this yet, but according to this article, this will allow you to bring those Matter accessories into HomeKit as a part of that advanced Matter bridging. So that would be really nice. Here's a little bit more about advanced Matter bridging. So it was introduced with the M3 hub earlier this year. It will come to all the Aqara Matter controllers, even the entry-level one. Brings two benefits. First, so this is what I was saying. First, you can bridge Matter devices into platforms that don't yet support that device type. So that would be like all those new device types we just mentioned. You could, according to this, bring those into like HomeKit or something. Which is pretty awesome. I mean, it would be nice if Apple just supported all those Matter device types in the Home app natively, and you wouldn't have to do that, but really nice that you can do it. And then second is that you can use Aqara's advanced automation features and scenes in any Matter compatible platform. This is what really excited me when I saw this a few weeks back when they were talking about this with the M3 hub. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So this is Aqara's advanced Matter bridging. It enhances interactivity between Aqara products and third-party platforms, enabling unique Aqara features. So for example, like facial recognition on that Aqara doorbell that I was just asked about. In the Aqara app, you could always create automations and stuff around that, which is really cool. So like, when you're recognized at the door, when your spouse is recognized, when certain people are recognized, create an automation around that. That's not something you can do in HomeKit natively, but with advanced Matter bridging, you can do that. So you can basically like export those triggers and stuff. I think they call them signals, but you can export that into HomeKit and use those. I think it's like comes through as a virtual occupancy sensor or something like that. So when that occupancy sensor is triggered, you can then run an automation right there in HomeKit using the facial recognition or all the other nice automation capabilities from the Aqara app. And that includes even like scenes, so you can export scenes and stuff, Matter scenes from, well, I guess it would be Matter, but through the Matter bridge. So things like, siren alerts and just all kinds of stuff that you couldn't do natively in HomeKit. You can export that, lighting effects. You can bring those scenes and effects and stuff like that into a HomeKit through that. So I hope that kind of makes sense and explains that a little bit. But I'll post this website here in the chat in case Larry, you or anybody else wants to check that out. But that talks more about that advanced matter bridging and what's needed and all that kind of stuff. All right, I see some questions here around networking and everything. I'm going to get to that. Some fan talk. Try to catch up with you guys in the chat a little bit. Let's see. Oh, lots of questions. All right, I'm saving them. Greg, thank you so much for being a channel for 42 months. Greg, I appreciate that. Greg using his monthly member chat there. Says, can you compare, contrast occupancy? I told you I'm rusty today. I can't talk. Can you compare and contrast occupancy sensors that are out, for example, Aqara and Third Reality, etc.? Yeah, I can try a little bit. So right now, the only wireless one that's out right now is Third Reality's. That's the one that I briefly showed on screen here earlier. They have, it looks like a big box, basically. It's about that big, and it looks like a box. And that one is a Zigbee occupancy sensor, so you do need some sort of Zigbee bridge or whatever, or you could use it with Home Assistant or whatever. But it is a millimeter wave sensor, so in my mind, an occupancy sensor or a true presence sensor does utilize millimeter wave. Aqara's, they have the FP2 and the FP1E. I think that's right. I'll try to pull them up for you. I think it's the FP1E. Look at that. My memory serves me correctly. So the Aqara FP1E. So this one is very similar, I would say, in functionality. I guess I have heard some people say that the Third Reality presence sensor kind of acts more like a motion sensor, and it doesn't really stay activated when you're like really still, which is kind of the whole point of a presence sensor. I haven't really tested that because I'm using mine in, let me try to find, here's that one. Here's the one from Third Reality. So I haven't really tested that as far as like staying really still and seeing if that it stays occupied in your smart home. I've been using it in my kitchen. I actually have two of them, and I created an automation in my kitchen, and it works really well for that. It triggers very fast. It's a very simple device, this one. So there's like 5 settings, and you can just physically on the device right here tap plus or minus to increase or decrease the sensitivity. And really that's it with this device. Similarly, the Aqara FP1E is pretty basic, so you can't create zones or do anything advanced like that with this one. It's a little bit more affordable than their higher end, the FP2 presence sensor, but this one does require you to plug it in. Aqara is going to have a wireless one come out this year sometime, so they say, and it'll actually look a lot better than this one right here. This is like a big old box. Aqara has one that's going to look pretty good. They showed at CES. But this one you have to plug it into a wall. Kind of same thing, but this one does do really good at just, noticing if you're still in the room, even if you're being really still. I think this one does really well for that. And then similarly, the FP2 also needs to be plugged in, but this one right here has just tons of functionality. So, I mean, you can mount it on the ceiling for like fall detection. You can create zones with this one. This one does all kinds of stuff. So if you want that advanced capability, then I would look at this one. It is really cool. It's tedious to set up, especially if you're doing zones and everything. But once you get it set up, it's really awesome. So you can have multiple zones within a room and everything like that. And yeah, so that's kind of some of the differences. And this one I think is Wi-Fi. I should have mentioned that. I think this one connects over Wi-Fi, the FP2. The FP1E, let me see, does it say on here? Pretty sure this one's Wi-Fi. The FP1E, the last one we just talked about, and Third Realities both connect over Zigbee. So I hope that helps. Uh-oh. Hold on, bear with me. I got real tiny. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. Let's fix myself. Gotta love live streams. You never know what's gonna happen. Oh, thanks, Greg. Let's see. George, what's up, George? I didn't see you were here in the chat. Good to see you. Oh man, my other thing got small too. Oh, it's killing me. I thought I had all this stuff locked in so I couldn't accidentally screw it up, but I guess I don't. Let's see. Now it's locked. All right, I'm not gonna screw it up now. I don't know what you're talking about, George, there, but it's always funny to see a big bald guy with a lot of tattoos use the word adorable. All right, let me get to some of the questions that I saved earlier. Tika says, have you tried Smart Wave Blind? I have not tried Smart Wave Blind. Smart Wave blinds. Now, I've been seeing a lot of these different, it's a good thing, but there's been a lot of matter over thread shades come out, like different companies. They all look very similar. I mean, could be the same product. They look like the same product to me. But I've seen a lot of these come out similar to Smart Wings. A lot of you guys are familiar with Smart Wings, or it's one that I've used quite a bit. But I have not tried the Smart Wave blinds yet. Question, can any smart light bulb work in an outside patio light fixture? I mean, theoretically it can. I don't know how long it'll last. I used a Philips Hue light bulb. I think it was Philips Hue in an outdoor fixture for a long time. I've used a couple different like cheaper Wi-Fi ones outdoors. I mean, it'll probably be fine, especially if it's covered or whatever. But I mean, I would probably just get, you know, maybe like a cheaper one. Don't spend too much and try it out and see how it goes. But it'll also depend on your climate and stuff like that, I assume. We don't have very cold temperatures here. For me, I'm having to battle the humidity, if anything, with all my outdoor tech. But I haven't had any issues with smart light bulbs outside, as long as they're in like a covered fixture or something. But I have not done that in quite a while. Brian says, I've had Nanoleaf outside for years. Okay, there you go. That's nice. I think I used Nanoleaf outside for a while too. All right, next question saved here. PalmaKit says, I just installed the Unifi Dream Machine SE Plus. Some U7 Pro access points. Very happy with it, but it's not easy to configure. It's not. That's what I've always kind of said. IPv6 for thread, all that good stuff. Are you still happy with your Unifi hardware? Any tips for trouble-free use? Yeah, so yeah, that's something that I've kind of always said like Unifi is great, but it takes a little more know-how. If you're a channel member, you know, we've got a great Unifi channel. Frederick, I know, helps out a lot over there in our Discord server. If you're a channel member and you can get into our Discord server, you can ask questions and stuff over there. But I did just release a video. I'm not sure if you saw it. This past weekend. It's basically like networking, just the essentials, very basics of building a smart home. So this is like the first video in a series that I'm publishing. It's really aimed at people who are just getting started, or just really anybody who wants to kind of like tidy up their smart home and kind of improve things and organize things, which is something I've been working on myself here for a little while. But anyways, the first video of the series is talking about smart home networking. I share basically all the stuff that I've learned. We didn't go too deep into like how to set up specific systems like Unifi or anything in that video, because I didn't want to go too deep into that with this video. Again, it's just a beginner level video. But I did reference a video from Terry White, which is actually another one of our channel members. He's in our Discord server too. But he put out a video on configuring Unifi specifically for HomeKit use. So I would check out that if you haven't seen it already. Maybe you'll get some tips or something that'll help you out. That video, I did link it in my last video, the one that I'm talking about that just posted on Sunday. So you could head over there, find that video, and then you can find the link to it, to Terry's video for that. But yeah, that's where I would start. Adventure Smurf, thank you. Says new video is awesome. Apple Home 101. Can't wait for the next videos in the series. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's something I've been wanting to do honestly for a while. Like I had this kind of getting started playlist on my channel, but it's been years, probably like at least 3 or 4 years, I want to say, since I've updated that. Things have definitely changed a little bit. So it's been something I've been wanting to do, just to give people, especially those who are just starting, like a really good resource for, specifically for Apple Home. So, from the very basics, from your networking, understanding that, to understanding the different protocols like Thread and Zigbee and then plus Matter and all that kind of stuff. We're also going to get into organization tips. We're going to talk about creating scenes and automations and kind of how to organize your smart home, and some of the things that I'm doing now, some of the things that I wish I would have done earlier on, naming conventions, all that stuff. And then I also have a video plan where we're going to get a little bit more advanced. We're going to talk about some stuff like Home Assistant and Scripted and these other things that you can kind of use to kind of level up your HomeKit or your Apple Home setup if you want to. Not necessary, but if you get to that point, like I have, and I know a lot of you guys have too, then that video will be good just to kind of show people what you can do, I think. Oh, thanks, Dan. All right, let's see. Back to these questions. I know you guys were chatting in the chat about the fan, and I did miss a lot of that because I was rambling on. So forgive me. I'm not sure what was recommended. I know WD Moody asked if there's any recommendations for a smart outdoor patio ceiling fan. I think that kind of depends on different things. If you're replacing an existing one, if you're building new and all that kind of stuff. I do think Frederick or somebody mentioned, just looking for one like from Hunter Douglas or something that supports Apple HomeKit. But for me, I don't know that they have any that are made for outdoors. So again, because I deal with the humidity really bad here, especially in the summertime, mainly in the summertime, I really didn't want to spend a lot of money on a nice fan with HomeKit support and everything that wasn't made for outdoors. And I don't know if they make some that support HomeKit that work outdoors or that are made for outdoors. You guys let me know if you know about that. Aaron, what's up, Aaron Swartz? Good to see you, man. Says Orison fans. I'm not familiar with Orison fans. Let me check them out. They support HomeKit. Oh, let's see. I may have seen. Oh, those are cool looking. They got some cool looking fans for sure. I'm not familiar with them. Looks like some of them are smart, but I don't see HomeKit on any of these. But you know, if you're using something like Home Assistant or whatever, some of those advanced things, you could probably bring it into HomeKit that way. But looks like Alexa and Google Assistant there. But yeah, anyways, what I did for mine is I have a ceiling fan on my back porch. We renovated our back porch, you know, in the past 2 years. And I got just an outdoor fan that's made for outdoors. So, you know, I don't have to worry about the humidity or anything eating it up. And it's wired to a switch. And then I just replaced the switch with a smart switch. And if it's a AC powered fan, you can use the like a Lutron fan controller switch, which are awesome. I love those. If it is a DC powered switch, it's a little more tricky, but you can still use just a like a Lutron on-off switch, or really any smart on-off switch, and that's what I did. So I have mine just on-off, and I can control it through HomeKit that way. So hopefully that helps. Oh, Aaron's using Toya app with Home Assistant. There you go. So yeah, if you're using Home Assistant or something like that, you probably have a lot more options available to you if you don't mind getting something that's not native HomeKit support. And then you can probably maybe find some stuff that is made for outdoors. So nice, good suggestions there. JL's Card Corner says, when do you think Dreamy robotic vacuums will be supported in HomeKit? And do you think the Dreamy X40 Ultra Complete will support it at all? I would really love to know. Love your videos. Thank you. I appreciate the support there. I do think that Dreamy is committed to supporting Matter. I don't recall any updates on that. Let's see if we can find anything. I know a lot of the robot vacuum manufacturers have been rolling out Matter support a lot lately. Looks like Reddit says it looks like they've had it on their Matter website. On the Matter website, that Dreamy has a Matter firmware approved since 2024, but no news. So it looks like they will update that. Let's see, I found a little forum here. Yeah, not seeing any specifics. I would think that the X40 Ultra will support Matter, that they'll roll out a firmware update for that, because that's the newest one, I think, other than the brand new one. But I can't guarantee that, and I really don't know anything other than that. Sorry. Trent has his Roborock in Apple Home. Yeah, Roborock's one that's rolled out support already. Let's see, who else? SwitchBot is kind of like in between. They support it through their hubs and stuff. I don't think they've rolled out like the full Matter over Wi-Fi support yet. Let's see, Ecovacs is another one. Who am I missing? Are there other ones? Gary says, I'd love to have Home Assistant, but it's too advanced for me. Yeah, it's I feel you, man. I have a love-hate relationship kind of with Home Assistant. I mean, it's amazing the stuff you can do. Excuse me, but I just really don't like creating automations in there. So I'm kind of doing, I talked about this kind of at length, I think, in recent live streams, but I'm using Homey to create really advanced automations, and I still use Home Assistant for certain things. I'm kind of using a little bit of everything, but we'll talk more about that in one of my upcoming videos. Yeah, same here. Edgar says, still waiting on the K10 Plus Pro combo. Me too. Like, I thought we were going to have that by now, that Matter over Wi-Fi update. Again, I think it supports it through the bridge, but it's not really like full robot vacuum support. So yeah, I've been waiting on that too. Oh, nice. Gary says, I've been with Google Home for years and just switched to Apple HomeKit. Nice. Welcome to the party. Let's see here. Check out these. MK says, what's the best smart home security system that supports Apple HomeKit? I've looked at Abode. I'm not sure if that's the best out there in 2025. It's the one that I recommend. Yeah, I made a video on Abode, gosh, what is probably at least 5 years ago. So like I've been using Abode for a long time. It's to this day, like really one of the only, if not the only security system that natively supports Apple HomeKit. I do not know why that is. There's some other, like you can use Aqara and kind of create your own DIY security system. But in my opinion, Abode is the best for like the more traditional security system features that you might be looking for. For example, there's battery backup. You can opt in for, professional monitoring if you want, and cellular backup. And just they've got a lot of good add-ons. You can add on sirens, and they've got a lot of sensors that also support HomeKit through the main bridge. So you can just you can use your door sensors or whatever in HomeKit for automations and stuff too. So yeah, Abode's the one I'm using. I recommend it. I don't really have any major complaints with it, and it's really the only, I think, decent option for a security system with native HomeKit support. John Wolf says Ring is better. I don't know about that one, my man. I'm not a fan of Ring. That's just me. It's more, I don't know. It's, I just don't use Ring. Hey Riot says I love Abode. Anybody else using Ring? I mean, I do know a lot of people that will use Ring, and you can bring it into Home Assistant or Homebridge and stuff, and you can use that in HomeKit. So, I mean, that is an option. So if you're doing stuff like that, there's definitely options that don't, but none of those natively support HomeKit. So, I don't know. Anybody else using Ring with HomeKit? Question, Thump Jimmy says, talking about Matter, ever since updating the SwitchBot to Matter, it keeps moving my devices in Apple Home. Yeah, that's weird. It shouldn't be doing that. Only thing I can guess is that maybe it's, from some update that it's doing that. I think I have seen that occasionally, like after a major update or something, or maybe if you change your Matter settings within SwitchBot maybe, but that definitely should not be happening on a regular basis. I don't really know what to recommend there other than making sure everything's up to date. And yeah, that's... Jay Will says, use Ring and HomeKit works great. Ring equals too Snoopy for me. Yeah. Yeah. I just got Abode after ADT for 20 years. Wow. Nice. How do you like it, Carl? You liking Abode so far? I know some people use ADT. I think you can use ADT through like Homebridge and get that into HomeKit too, or Home Assistant or something like that. Yep, Adventure Smurf there said it best. Not to mention the privacy thing. I mean, it's a privacy thing too. For me, they've just got like probably the worst track record when it comes to privacy issues. Scott says, I had to remove the device and add it back to fix it. Okay, so there's some advice there for the SwitchBot issue. Thank you, Scott from Gadget Review Videos. Says, yeah, so maybe you just remove your SwitchBot hub completely from HomeKit or from Matter and then re-add it, and maybe that'll fix it. That's a good suggestion. Okay, cool. Awesome. Carl's loving Abode. So yeah, it looks like Abode is still a good option. Everybody's still, or a number of people are still using it, myself included, in 2025. It is crazy. All these years later, I've used so many different smart home devices over the years. Lights and locks. I've changed my smart locks more times than I can count. I've pretty much drove my family absolutely crazy with that. But the security system is the only thing it's like one of the only things that has really stayed the same. And I've been using it for years. So Jeff says Aqara buttons are great for that. Thank you, Jeff and Frederick. Yeah, I saw the question. Let me find it. Need a bedside battery powered on-off button. What do you recommend? Yep, they mentioned Aqara. I say if you have an Aqara hub already, certainly get Aqara. They are affordable and super reliable. One of the most reliable buttons. I actually have one right here up under my desk. I use this to trigger my camera lights. Now, Flick is another option. I use Flick. They're probably not as reliable as Aqara, I'd say, in the end. But I do use it's really going to depend on your connection and stuff and maybe your house. But I do have a Flick button that I use on my bedside table every night. And it like sets the alarm and turns the fan on and all that kind of stuff. So Flick is another one that you might want to check out, but they're pretty expensive. I think the main reason to go with Flick is if you want to get a bunch of them, maybe, because you have to get their hub for it to work with HomeKit. And then also if you just really like the way they look, because they do look a lot better than the Aqara buttons. But if you're just hiding it like under a desk or behind a table or something, then yeah, Aqara is a good option. And if you don't have an Aqara hub, maybe you might want to look at something like the, what's the name? ARI Matter over Thread button, because that doesn't require any hub. But that's Matter over Thread. But I'd say for reliability, if you have an Aqara hub or plan to get one, that's probably the one to go with. Oh, see, Chris says, yeah, the Third Reality buttons. That's another one too. I actually have a few of them. They just Third Reality just sent me like a whole box of stuff, and I have not used their buttons yet. And they do have kind of a weird shape to them, but yeah, I would imagine those are probably pretty reliable too, because they use Zigbee and probably I assume will be as reliable as the Aqara buttons too. Okay, Andy says it has an Aqara hub. So yeah, definitely a Aqara button there for the bedside. It's probably a good option. Sibrio Cali, sorry if I butchered your name there, says, do you believe in separating your smart device network from your home network? If so, how will that work if you move to Home Assistant? Yeah, so I talked about this actually a little bit in my last video that just came out on Sunday, so definitely check that out. But yeah, I do believe in having a separate IoT network just for all my Internet of Things, all my smart home devices, and then all of our iPhones and iPads and computers and stuff stay on the main network. That is how I prefer to have my home set up, just for privacy reasons and security. I don't really understand the question regarding Home Assistant. If you move to Home Assistant, that really doesn't affect Home Assistant in any way. Or HomeKit, it just affects how you kind of connect your devices and stuff. So when you initially pair your devices and stuff like that, you just want to pair them to the IoT network. But that is something that I recommend if it's at all possible doing. Get a couple more questions here. Let's see. Ab Wolf says, have you ever felt like you have done so much that it's hard to find new ideas for automations and sensors that you can get? That's a good question, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I I suppose with automation, sometimes it can feel like that because, especially if you guys have watched me from like the early days, like way back in the beginning, like I always really just like to keep things simple. I really don't like to like overcomplicate my smart home or my automations and stuff. I do really love automations, but I just want to use automations that are actually useful in my life and not, just not overcomplicate things. I mean, for one, it pisses off everybody else in the family when they don't work right. So I guess with automations, maybe it can get that way. But, I am always looking to kind of change and improve, like the smart home really kind of becomes like a hobby, I think, for a lot of us. So, with that said, there's kind of always something to talk about because I can just talk about the stuff that I'm doing in my smart home and things that I'm changing and working on. Like I've just was working on some automations, like I was talking about earlier in the kitchen, where just a simple automation, but one that I really need to get right so I don't upset everybody in the house. But I wanted to create a really accurate, reliable automation that when you get close to the kitchen cabinets, the under cabinet lights come on brighter, and when you step away, they go back dim. So that's one that I'm doing. But yeah, I mean, I'm always kind of working on something, but I tend to not get too crazy. I have in the past, and then I end up not really using those like crazy automations too much in my real life. So, I tend not to get too crazy. And just as far as like video ideas and stuff, there's never been more smart home devices and stuff, especially for Apple HomeKit, to be able to talk about and test and like share with you guys. So I don't do like only product reviews or anything, but I do a fair amount of those, and there's never been more devices than now. Like I can't even test them all. So it's kind of a good problem to have. I feel like that was not always the case when I first started doing YouTube. It seemed like a lot harder to find, HomeKit products that I could share because I do just really stick with HomeKit products for the most part. Nowadays, there's more than I can even test, which is great because that means I can kind of just pick and choose like the ones that I really think are useful or the ones that I think you guys will really like, and just test the stuff that I want to test. So yeah, I don't really see me running out of content ideas or anything like that anytime soon. But yeah, good question. I like that. Let me jump back up in the chat real quick and see where you guys are at. Upset everybody in the house. Are you really just talking about one person in particular? Well, there's one person that comes to mind. She was actually just cussing yesterday about my kitchen cabinet automation, because like I'm trying to get it just right, so you got to fine tune it. And it, I think she was cooking and the lights, I don't know, they dimmed down before she was ready or something. And yeah, Are you still using Home Assistant for your primary toolkit, or have you switched back to Apple HomeKit? Yeah, so I'll talk about this a little bit more in my video coming up in a few weeks. Part of this HomeKit 101 series, I'm going to share kind of my setup and what I'm doing, as well as just other options and stuff. But yeah, right now I am using Home Assistant mainly for like compatibility. So for certain things that I want to bring into HomeKit, I'm also using Homey Pro. I'm also using Scripted, and then I'm using HomeKit. So HomeKit's kind of like the front-facing user interface. I still use it. We use HomePods, voice assistants, Apple TVs, HomeKey, all that kind of stuff, with HomeKit. But behind the scenes, I have those other systems where I can kind of pick and choose the things that I want to use from each of those. And like I said, I'll talk a little bit more about that in the future, in that future video. But yeah, it's a bit overkill probably for a lot of people. But since I had a Homey Pro, I just love creating automations on Homey Pro. It's just really enjoyable. Their user interface for creating those advanced automations is just so much fun to use. So I've been using that to create automations, but I do still definitely use Home Assistant for some things. And like I have a dashboard that I use for Home Assistant on my wall iPad still. So that may change, but so far I'm just kind of using a little bit of everything. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people do. So, I mean, again, I'm probably a little overkill in using like Homey Pro also, but yeah, a lot of people do this where they use HomeKit for the UI, the front end, your family, everybody can use the Home app, and then Home Assistant on the back end to kind of create more powerful automations, device compatibility, stuff like that. That you can't do with HomeKit. So yeah, a lot of people do this, and a lot of people really like this. If you don't mind getting into HomeKit, so it's a bit of a process for sure once you get into Home Assistant, but you can do a whole lot with it. So yeah, and a lot of people really like that kind of setup. I think that combination there. So all right, guys. Well, it has been a joy hanging out with you again this week. So glad to be back. I was looking forward to this. This has been like a rat race, I feel like, all week trying to get all my projects done. So I was really looking forward to hanging out and just breathing and chatting a little bit with you guys about all this stuff. So thank you for hanging out and for joining me today. Definitely turn on notifications if you don't have them on already. Next week, I am planning on having a guest, so you don't want to miss that. You can hang out, maybe ask some questions and chat with us a little bit. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to, like I said, try to bring on guests here and there, each month, at least once or twice if we can. And if you're a channel member, come over there to our member Discord server if you haven't already, where you can also ask questions and stuff like that. If I wasn't able to get to your question here in the live stream, definitely ask over there on Discord, and me or somebody else will respond over there. All right, with that said, thank you guys so much. Oh, and happy Easter this weekend. I hope you all have a great weekend and a great night. God bless.